I am a really big fan of Guillermo Del Toro's work. I've seen all of his films. Most of them have really struck a chord with me. Some of them are a bit naff. Kronos and Mimic are a bit boring, but a lot of his other films like Pan's Labyrinth, Devil's Backbone, they're all classics in my opinion. So I was quite excited for this, but the trailer didn't really do much for me when I saw it. I was kind of confused as to what it was trying to be, and now having seen the film, I still feel that way about it. Del Toro really knows how to get good performances out of his actors. Everyone in this is good, but it doesn't really mean much because the characters aren't very good. There's not a lot of characters that I really connected with. Bradley Cooper is the best actor of everyone, obviously, because he's the lead and his character's the most interesting, but you kind of see where his arc is going from the beginning. He's not the most interesting protagonist in a noir I've ever seen. He does start off the film not talking, and I thought that might be for the whole of the film, and I thought that would be really interesting to have a mute protagonist. They give up on that fairly quickly. I'm not entirely sure why they set it up to begin with. He does spend the first 5 or 10 minutes not talking, and there's plenty of opportunities for him to respond to people. Like Willem Dafoe, I think, does ask him a question and he just looks at him blankly. And what makes that worse is that his first line isn't particularly poignant, or at least I didn't think it was on the first viewing. So I feel like there was a real missed opportunity there for something really interesting. All of the women that you see on the poster, Cate Blanchett, Rooney Mara and Toni Collette, Bradley Cooper's character has sex with all of them, which is fine for his character, but he does have a more romantic relationship with Rooney Mara's character. When their relationship becomes more emotionally investing, you don't feel for it because you already know he's a bit of a player, and you can tell that his relationship with her is fake from the beginning. It doesn't have as much impact as it should when they get together, and also they didn't really have much chemistry, I thought. Speaking of Cate Blanchett, she is good in this, but she plays the same kind of character she's been playing a lot lately, the seductive blonde lady. I enjoyed the scenes with her in probably the most out of all of the side characters. Without spoiling too much, near the end she has quite a big plot point which didn't really land for me because I wasn't sure what was going on, and so I can't really divulge into that without spoiling it too much, so I won't go into that, but if you've seen it you hopefully will know what I'm talking about. The film is very long. It's 2.5 hours and it does feel like it. It does really drag. It definitely feels like Guillermo Del Toro has been given a bit too much power and he's self-indulging a lot. There's a time jump after the scenes in the carnival. So the carnival scenes at the beginning last at most an hour, and then there's a time jump and then the real story starts. So that's basically everything in the carnival is a really extended prologue, and that is a serious pacing issue. The real story starts after the carnival stuff. Del Toro's signature brown cinematography is there and it's very nice, but none of his style is there. There's a lot of cool violence, but because it's a noir film and rather than a horror film, it doesn't have any of those signature monster designs that he has. There is one kind of cool looking fetus in alcohol, which is a nice reference to Devil's Backbone, but it's very much a surface level detail and there's not much else there for you to cling on to that's very Del Toro-esque. And I could say that a lot for a lot of this film. It's very much style over substance and there's not a lot of depth to the story. There's quite a lot of style, you know, obviously they're doing the noir style and the brown cinematography and everything, but the story is just not very interesting and quite predictable. Like I said, Bradley Cooper's arc, you kind of know where it's going. There are things at the beginning that feel like they're setting up twists, but the reveals at the end are very underwhelming and nothing comes as a surprise, and it doesn't really feel like there's a twist going on at all. With that being said though, there are some really well directed scenes. Every time someone dies, there's a lot of impact. There's really gratuitous violence, and the good kind, where you just see the proper visceral violence of death. There's one scene where someone gets punched repeatedly in the face to death, and you see the remnants of their face after that, and I don't think I've ever seen that in a film, but you can see just a crushed face, which looks fantastic. Anytime a gunshot is heard, it's really loud and really impactful and brilliant, and the same goes for the punching sound effects as well. The sound design and the music in this film is really good, but it's all style and there's not much substance. It does feel like Guillermo Del Toro really liked noir films growing up and he's doing his own take on one, but the story just isn't that great. In the end, I will give it a date score of 6. Happy dating, you loners.